don't feel like doing the things you're supposed to do. But the true masculine frame throughout history was doing the things they didn't want to do, but they knew they had to do because they had honor and duty. That's what honor and duty means. Do you think the men on the Titanic wanted to stay on the Titanic? No, we're men. We have to stay. We're scared, but we must. It's our duty to let the women and children on the lifeboats. This is masculine duty. When you remove self-control from men, you get, not only do you get emasculated weak men, but what you also get is very dangerous men. Because the world at large is trying to tell you, just be more in touch with your feelings and everything's gonna be fine. Men also have an innate desire, one, for conquest, and two, we have a biological response. We are very predispositioned to anger. You look at all these school shooters and these are men who can't control their emotions. That's all they are.
Facts.
They have no self-control. And then they go and do dangerous. A good man controls himself. I have absolute self-control. If I decide to smash your face in, it was a very conscious decision. Nothing to do with the fact I was angry. You understand? Emotional control is absolutely and utterly important as a man. Now, I'm not saying become a stoic dork, have no personality, be a boring. I'm not saying that. I'm saying that you need to understand as a man, there are certain principles under which you act, regardless of how you feel.
Bam.
I can wake up in a terrible mood. I can wake up sad. I can ache. I can have a busy day, stressed, etc. I will complete the same tasks as if I woke up in a fantastic mood. I'll do the same things because how I feel has no bearing on the things I'm going to do with my day because I have duty to myself and to my bloodline. So a lot of you guys out here are acting like fools because you feel like acting like fools. And what I'm going to say to you is, because you think there's something wrong with you, you go, well, I lack motivation. You hear this one? I don't have the motivation to go to the gym. Well, here's the news flash. Neither did I. And I still did it. So now what are you going to say? Now you have no excuse, right? Oh, you're scared to get in the ring. So was I. I still did it. Scared to get in the cage. So was I. I still did it. Being a man isn't about not feeling things. It's about acting the way you're supposed to act, regardless of how you feel. And I'm tired of hearing guys message about how they feel. I don't feel motivated. I don't feel. Feel. Leave the feelings to the girls, right? That's what they do. We act. We're men of action. We get things done. That's how the world got built. All of it. All the men who built the skyscrapers felt scared. They did it anyway. You need to become a man of action. Stop worrying about how you feel and start worrying about what you're supposed to be doing.
You have a series of emotions you live with regularly, don't you? Those emotions could be bliss, passion, joy, faith, but they could also be worry, stress, depression, frustration, concern. And because you've done it over and over again, even though you know they don't serve you, you will find a way on a very regular basis to get those damn emotions. The quality of your emotions is going to be the quality of your life.
The Bible says in 1 Corinthians, we are unspiritual when we're under the control of ordinary impulses. And that's the way so many people are today. They just let their feelings run their lives. If they feel like telling somebody off, they just tell them off. They feel like being depressed, and they go around all depressed. But friends, we cannot just act on these emotional impulses and expect to have any kind of victory in our lives. Feelings can get us into trouble. And throughout life, you're going to have plenty of opportunities to lose your temper. You're going to get up some mornings and feel like being depressed. At times you'll get caught in traffic and feel like being impatient, feel like getting upset. But we've got to learn how to follow wisdom and do what we know is right and not just follow our feelings around. I can feel my emotions rising, but I made a decision not to get on board. Just because you can feel those emotions doesn't mean you have to get on board. When you feel like saying something that you know you shouldn't say, no, don't get on board. If things aren't going your way and you kind of feel like being discouraged, no, you've got to learn to discipline the negative feelings and keep a good attitude anyway. It's when we do the hard things in life, that's when God is developing our character. Somebody offends us and we just don't let it bother us. We just take the high road. That's when we're really maturing. But the problem today is too many people are not willing to pay the price to walk in victory. They don't want to be inconvenienced. They just want to take the easy way out. The easiest thing to do is to just let our flesh have its way. If you want to grow up and experience God's best, it's going to take some hard work. It's hard to keep a good attitude and be patient when nothing's going your way. Sometimes it's going to make us uncomfortable. But I read where there are two kinds of pain in life. One is the pain of discipline. The other is the pain of regret. And if we live a lazy, undisciplined life, and we act on these emotional impulses, we're going to make very poor choices that we regret later on. I mean, how many times have we acted on our emotions and said something that we know we shouldn't say, and later on, it ends up hurting us in that relationship? Friends, the pain of discipline is minuscule compared to the pain of regret. No discipline at the time is pleasant, but later on, it's going to bring you a harvest of great things. If you live on that shallow level of just always letting your flesh have its way, and I can tell you later on you're going to have some major regrets. If you allow yourself to just go around being upset, impatient, and stressed out, later on it's going to catch up to you. Later on it's going to affect your health. If you just are loose in your morals and you just do whatever you feel like doing, well, it may give you some pleasure at the time, but later on, it's going to cost you a very heavy price. See, God will only promote us as high as our character will take us. And God is not going to put you in a position of greater leadership if you are not treating the people in your life right now with respect and honor. If you're being lazy and not being faithful to do what you know you should be doing, then that's going to keep you stagnant. That's going to keep you from growing. If you had a problem with your temper 10 years ago and you have that same exact problem today, I can tell you that's keeping you from God's best. If you would just do your part and grow up a little bit and quit being ruled by your feelings, if you do that, that's when God will begin to increase you. If you're having difficult times today, instead of getting all bent out of shape, you need to see it as an opportunity to grow. God may be trying to do a work in you. If you find yourself always being around people that offend you and you're always getting your feelings hurt, well, there's a good chance that God is trying to teach you to quit being so touchy. If you find yourself around people that are always rubbing you the wrong way, always irritating you, God is trying to teach you how to love the unlovely. He's trying to teach you a little bit about patience. Well, God, if you just ever change these kids, that's why I'm always upset. Now, let me tell you a secret. God is not going to change your children until you first allow Him to change yourself. And instead look inside and allow God to do a work in you. Then God will change the circumstances. Then He'll change those other people. As long as we're not passing the test, then we're going to have to take it over and over again. In 1 Peter chapter 4, verse 12, don't be surprised at the fiery trial that you're going through. It is only to test your quality. You see, when we go through times of pressure, it shows us what we're really made of. It shows us areas we need to improve. And unless we learn how to rule over our emotions, make the right choices, keep a good attitude, then we're not going to get out of that situation. God loves you too much to just leave you alone. He sees your potential. He is going to constantly be pushing you and testing you and giving you opportunities to improve. The next time somebody does you wrong and you're tempted to get upset and lose your cool, no, you need to see that as an opportunity to grow. If you'll keep a good attitude and do the right thing, you know what? You will pass the test and God will promote you. Don't get on board with your feelings. See, we cannot control every circumstance in life, but we can control how we respond to those circumstances. When you feel your emotions rising up, instead of just praying, God, get me out of this situation, God, change everything, no, you need to learn to pray, God, help me to remain calm. Help me to rule over these emotions. God wants us to be stable. He wants us to remain consistent. And the way we do it is to learn to live beyond our feelings. We got to discipline these negative emotions. You do not have to get all upset just because things don't go your way. Make your flesh stay calm. Pass that test. Just walk away. Be the bigger person. Don't allow other people to steal your joy. Keep yourself calm. It's a decision that you have to make. God is not going to make it for you. You've got to discipline yourself. The next time you're tempted to just follow your feelings, you remember God has promised that it is not too difficult for you to handle. You can overcome. You can withstand it. That's what I want you to see today. Just when you have the emotion, you do not have to get on board. When we act on these emotional impulses, it causes us to make poor choices that we're going to regret later on.
It comes from domination. Total, complete, relentless domination of your time, your habits, your vision. And the man who trains in solitude, he has nothing but time. He controls it. Stop seeking noise, start seeking clarity. Sit with yourself. No phone, no distractions, just you and your thoughts. It'll hurt at first. Your mind will scream for stimulation, but eventually you'll go deeper. You'll start to understand yourself at a level no one else does. And that's the beginning of power. Because when you understand yourself, no one can manipulate you. No one can throw you off your path. You'll see through the lies, the fake relationships, the empty promises. You'll become clear. And clarity is a weapon the weak will never understand. There's a reason the monks train in mountains. There's a reason warriors meditate in caves. Solitude strips away everything fake. No validation, no filters, no distractions, just raw reality. And if you can face that and not flinch, then you've become something rare. When I say being alone is a weapon, I mean it's the forge, the fire, the laboratory. It's where your future is created. People wait for motivation. I build it. People wait for opportunity. I create it. Because I spent years in silence, doing what needed to be done. You know the hardest part? It's not the pain. It's not the hunger. It's the loneliness of being misunderstood, of watching the world chase mediocrity while you chase mastery, of knowing you could have friends if you lowered your standards, but you don't, because you refuse to be average. That kind of solitude takes courage. And let me say this to the men out there who feel alone, who feel forgotten. I see you. I was you, but I promise, if you stay disciplined, if you stay hungry, that isolation becomes power. One day the world will watch in shock as you rise, and you'll remember every quiet night, every sacrifice, every lonely moment. That's what built you. Not the applause, not the likes, not the fake friends, the suffering. That's what turned you from boy to beast, from follower to force. I didn't build empires because I was lucky. I did it because I stopped making excuses. I stopped whining. I stopped blaming. I owned every second, every mistake, every loss, and that gave me control. The man who takes full responsibility becomes the man who controls his future. So ask yourself, what's stopping you from becoming the man you were born to be? Your environment? Your past? Your relationships? Or is it just you, not willing to sit alone and do the damn work? Because deep down, you know the truth. Every minute you spend running from solitude, you're running from growth, from greatness, from God. You've got one life, one, and you're wasting it avoiding discomfort? Not me. I chose the fire. I chose the grind. I chose the path no one wanted to walk. And now, they all want to know the way. But I can't walk it for you. No one can. You've got to be the one to wake up early, even when you don't feel like it. You've got to be the one to skip the party, the girls, the mindless entertainment, because your goals mean more. You've got to be the one to push through pain, doubt, and fatigue alone. That's how winners are made. Let me be real with you. No one respects a man who complains. No one respects a man who hides behind others. But the man who walks alone, who embraces solitude, who outworks everyone in silence, that man is respected. That man is feared. That man is you if you choose to be. You've got the same hours in the day I had, the same pain, the same fears. So what's the difference? Mindset, discipline, will, and all three are built in the crucible of being alone. When I walk into a room, I don't speak first. I observe. I calculate. That's something solitude taught me. Silence is strategic. It forces you to listen, to watch, to know. While others talk, you prepare. While others rush, you plan. That's why you win. They'll call you cold. Let them. Because one day, you'll be warm in your mansion while they're still chasing likes on Instagram. One day, you'll have peace while they have regret. One day, you'll be free because you paid the price they were too scared to even consider. This life owes you nothing. It will break you if you let it. But if you stand tall, alone, it will eventually respect you. It will bend to your will. Because the world doesn't give power to the needy. It gives power to the relentless. So stay hungry, stay alone, stay dangerous, and watch how they all come running back when you no longer need them. People think the journey is about how fast you run. It's not. It's about how long you can keep walking when your legs are shaking, your chest is tight, and your heart is breaking. But you don't quit. That's what separates the lion from the sheep. Not talent, not luck, just endurance. They told me I was insane, that I should take it easy, that I should enjoy life. But how can you enjoy life when you're broke? When you're average? When your soul knows you're capable of so much more? I wasn't put on this earth to be mediocre, and neither were you. People avoid being alone because when it's quiet, the truth gets loud. The voice in your head starts reminding you of everything you haven't done, every dream you abandoned, every excuse you made. And that's why most men run back to distractions, because they can't face the man in the mirror. But you're different. You're still here, reading this, listening. That means you're not broken. You're becoming. And what you're becoming is something rare, something lethal, because the man who faces his truth and keeps going anyway is a man you can't stop. Loneliness isn't your enemy. Weakness is. Distraction is. Addiction is. But solitude is your sensei. It's where you learn self-control, purpose, fire. It's where you become a man of depth, not just surface. It's where the world stops owning you and you start owning yourself. The masses fear being alone because they built their entire identity on being liked, on being seen. But you're building in the shadows. Brick by brick, day by day, you're doing the hard thing, the unseen thing, and that's why you'll be remembered when the rest fade into dust. I spent years being broke. Broke in my bank account, broke in my soul, but I never stopped working. While they laughed, I calculated. While they rested, I researched. While they wasted time, I trained my body, sharpened my mind, armored my spirit. And eventually, I stopped losing. People look at me now and think it was overnight. They don't see the pain. They don't see the nights I couldn't sleep because my vision wouldn't shut up. They don't see the hunger I had, not just in my stomach, but in my spirit. I was starving for greatness. Still am. Because here's the secret no one wants to admit. It never gets easier. It just becomes normal. The pain, the pressure, the isolation, you stop resisting it. You start using it. You start weaponizing it. You turn the dark into fuel. And that's when you become unbreakable. I've been betrayed. I've been abandoned. I've been counted out. But I kept going. And every time I leveled up, I had fewer people around. Because not everyone can breathe at high altitudes. Most people collapse when the air gets thin. But you adapt. You evolve. You rise. You've got to understand something. A man without discipline is a man without a future. And you don't build discipline when it's easy. You build it when no one's watching. When you've got every reason to quit, but you don't. That's where character is forged. In the fire, not in the spotlight. You want peace? Earn it. You want freedom? Sacrifice for it. You want respect? Then command it. And all of that starts when you embrace being alone, not as punishment, but as preparation. You see, comfort is the silent killer. It doesn't stab you in the back, it puts you to sleep. It whispers lies like you've done enough. You deserve a break. And if you listen too long, you wake up years later, wondering where your life went. But pain wakes you up. Solitude wakes you up. That's why you have to seek it. You have to make suffering your training partner. Make hunger your friend. Make discomfort your teacher. And before long, you become someone who can't be shaken, who can't be stopped. That's the man the world fears. Not the loudest guy in the room, but the calmest, the most focused, the one who says nothing but builds everything. I want you to remember this. Your story doesn't end in the pit. It starts there. Every king was once a lonely man in a dark place. Every legend was once laughed at. Every hero was once invisible until they chose to fight. You don't need everyone to believe in you. You just need you. Because when you finally break through, they'll all act like they knew you'd make it. But deep down, you'll know they weren't there when it mattered. They weren't there when you were hungry and tired and alone, grinding in silence. They weren't there when you were building with nothing but pain in your chest and fire in your soul. But you were there. You built this. So don't expect credit. Don't wait for validation. Own it. Own your struggle. Own your silence. Own your rise. And when it all starts to work, when the money comes in, when your name starts echoing through rooms you haven't even walked into yet, stay dangerous. Stay disciplined. Because success isn't the end. It's the beginning of even harder challenges. More power, more responsibility, more enemies, more distractions. And if you're not grounded, if you haven't trained in solitude, it will consume you. But not you. You've been forged in fire. You've been trained by the storm. You've sat with your demons and stared them down. So when life gets louder, you stay quiet. When things fall apart, you stay focused. When everyone else panics, you execute. You don't need to announce your comeback. You just show up. You don't need to scream that you're different. You prove it. You don't need to chase attention, because real power attracts. So let them scroll, let them party, let them doubt. You build, you rise alone. Because being alone is not a curse, it's a crucible. It's not a punishment, it's preparation. It's not weakness, it's warfare. This is how kings are made. This is how warriors are born. This is how you become the man you are destined to be. So the next time it's quiet and you feel like the world forgot you, smile. Because that's your moment. That's your arena. That's where you sharpen your blade. Welcome it. Embrace it. Use it. Because being alone, that's your weapon. You ever notice how the most powerful men in history didn't walk in packs? They didn't move in crowds. They didn't need 100 voices in their ears telling them who to be or how to think. They walked alone. And that solitude didn't make them weak. It made them dangerous. You don't sharpen a blade by keeping it comfortable. You sharpen it by dragging it across stone over and over until it screams. That's what being alone is. It's the friction, the grind, the process of cutting off the softness and shaping the steel beneath. And listen, there are going to be nights when the silence is so loud it feels like it could crush you. Nights where your mind turns against you, where doubt creeps in and whispers that you'll never make it, that you're wasting time, that you're not good enough. I've had those nights. I still do. But I don't run from them. I listen. Because inside that pain is a message. Inside that doubt is a question. Are you going to break now, or are you going to build? And every time I chose to build, I walked closer to the man I was meant to be. People talk about finding themselves like it's a vacation. Like you'll magically discover who you are by sitting on a beach, sipping a drink, journaling your feelings. Nah. You create yourself in the trenches. You build yourself when you're bruised, bloodied, and completely alone. That's why solitude is sacred. That's why isolation is a gift, not a curse. It gives you time to craft the blueprint, time to analyze your flaws, your habits, your mission, and then it gives you the quiet